Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars and Other Dude Stuff. You know, I've been smoking cigars a long time, and as I think about it, I was thinking, there's things I wish I could tell myself when I was a new smoker that would have made it more enjoyable. So that's what this video is about, 7 things that I wish I had told myself when I was a new smoker. So let's start with number 1, and that is don't lock yourself in to one particular kind of cigar, be it strength or body or country or type of wrapper or anything else. Try a variety of cigars. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to stick with Connecticut wrappers, which is the advice you get a lot as a new smoker. Oh, you should do mild cigars. I think it's a lot better to start out, smoke some mild and medium full to get an idea of what different bodies are like. And you might find that you have a lot different preference than mild cigars. Same thing applies though, try different sizes and even different countries of origin, because different countries of origin have different characteristics in their tobacco. Try different shapes and sizes and types of tobacco and find out what you like. The second thing I would tell myself is price does not necessarily equal quality. Cigars have that kind of product, like diamonds are another one, where I don't know crap about diamonds. I go to a jewelry store and they say, this is a great diamond. I go, what do I know? And it's the most expensive, which must mean it's the greatest. That applies sometimes. There certainly are high-priced cigars that are wonderful cigars, but there's a lot of mid-level cigars that are good too. So don't feel obligated to start with expensive cigars or hard-to-get cigars. Kind of like I said before, run the gamut. And the best choice of cigars, I think the widest variety of cigars, is probably in the $8 to $13 or $14 range in US dollars. So stick in that range and you're going to have a wide variety of good cigars to choose from. My third item actually is related to price and quality as well, and that has to do with accessories. Accessories are a tricky thing in cigars because you can spend $200 on a diamond-studded cigar cutter, or you can spend $100 on a nice normal cigar cutter, or you can get one free with a 5-pack. Again, price does not necessarily equal quality. I have a Cigar cutter that I really like that I think I paid about $75 for, that served me well over the years. But I also got one that I got free with a 5-pack that served me well for just as long. There's a lot of good cutters out on the market, and you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to get a good one. Same thing applies with lighters, and I think even more so. I can tell you, I have a graveyard of $60 or $70 lighters that didn't even last a year. My favorite lighters are these Vertigo lighters that I put the link to on Amazon. I don't know if they change in price, but you can get one for $15 easily. Don't necessarily think you have to buy a lighter that's $100 or something like that to have a good lighter. The next thing I want to address is cigar sellers. And I'm talking about the US market here primarily. There's really 3 different types of cigar sellers. You can go to a retail store, brick and mortar, B&M they call them, and buy cigars there. Or you can buy cigars through one of the printed catalogs. There's probably a half dozen of those that come around. Or you can buy them strictly online from a place like Cigar Page or something like that that only has an online presence. Each of those has advantages and disadvantages, and I think it's important to understand those from the get-go so you don't get kind of roped into following advice from one that really isn't the best advice for you. So let's start with cigar stores. Retail cigar stores, I think, are best for buying single cigars, loosies, or getting advice about maybe some new cigars on the market, or seeing some cigars that retailers sell that aren't available in other channels of distribution. And there's quite a few of those. Don't be afraid of your local cigar store, but I won't go crazy and be buying 20 or 30 cigars there because their prices tend to be quite a bit higher than you can get in the catalogs. The next place to get cigars is out of those printed catalogs. These are ones that you get once every couple months in the mail. Some examples of those are Cigars International and Holtz and Thompson Cigars. They have their place, but a lot of them push their house brands and kind of no-name brands. And some house brands are really good. I mean, Cigars International pushes Diesel, and Diesel's an A.J. Fernandez cigar. It's been around forever. It's really what made him A.J. Fernandez in terms of a name in the cigar business. But you got to be careful for those house brands. Another thing I'd use for catalogs for, though, is samplers. You can get 20 cigars maybe for $5 or $6 a piece. a nice variety. There's always going to be some clunkers in there, but there's going to be some good ones as well. So it gives you that variety I was talking about in my first point that I made. Third are online sellers. And I'm not talking about Facebook, man. On any social media, if somebody's saying, hey, I got a good deal on Cuban cigars, or just got a shipment of Cuban cigars, stay away from those guys. They're almost all scams. What you want is reliable, really settled in cigar sellers online. I really like Cigar Page. I think their pricing and their service balance out pretty well. Very low price, okay service. But I also use Fox Cigars a lot because Fox Cigars has really good service, really good delivery. I've never been disappointed in the quality, but their prices aren't that great. So kind of pick out your preferred cigar sellers with those things in mind. The next one is something that I was very guilty of as a new cigar smoker, and that's what I would refer to as going box crazy. I would smoke one or two cigars of a particular kind and get a sampler like I was just talking about and say, oh man, this is a great cigar, it's a great cigar, box of 20. Next week, oh, this one was good. I'm going to get a box of these. And pretty soon you got a bunch of boxes and you got all your cigar budget tied up in boxes. Your tastes at that point in time are changing. And you really don't know for sure if this is what you want on a long-term basis. So you're locked in now and you got 20 cigars sitting in storage and you got to smoke through them. My story, CAO, it was Pilan. And I smoked a Pilan. I said, oh my God, medium body, perfect taste. This is a cigar I want to smoke for the rest of my life. And I got a box of them. I'm telling you, I had a couple of those left 4 years later because I was so sick of smoking them, had moved on with my taste, really didn't like them anymore very much, but I was stuck with that box. And I can name a half a dozen at least examples of me doing that. Stay away from boxes. Your friends are samplers, like I said, and 5-packs. A 5-pack's a good choice because you get a little bit of a discount and can get deals on in some places on them. You're not tying yourself into too much. And if you get through a 5-pack and you're going, these are still the greatest cigars in the world, maybe it's time to think about a box then. Next on my list is really try to understand your storage needs. And again, a lot of my theme here in this video, you notice, is don't lock yourself into something. Don't go out and buy yourself a big 200 cigar humidor right away. But on the other hand, I'm going to show you my first humidor that I bought when I started smoking cigars. Because I thought, oh, I'm going to smoke a cigar maybe once a week, couple of months or something. So here we go. This max capacity 8 cigars. I am not exaggerating, that lasted me about 2 weeks. But don't go crazy and buy yourself a 200 cigar humidor right away. Number one, wood humidors and even the climate controlled ones require a little bit of maintenance and care and handling, and it increases the degree of difficulty a little bit if you're a new cigar smoker. Honestly, my recommendation to you is something like this. These are called, in slang terms, Tupperdoor. And this one is a nice one. I'll put the link to this particular one on Amazon as well. This gives you an idea. This could hold probably comfortably 25 cigars. And put a Bovita pack in. Bovita packs are these packs that you buy, and they are basically preset to provide the correct amount of humidity. So you use the 67% or 69%, whatever your preference is, and put one in a box like this with 20 cigars, and you are good to go. You don't even have to watch it. I would also get a little humidity sensor, which I'll also put the link in for. And the nice thing about those too is they're modular. They're very low maintenance, but they're also very modular. You can buy a couple of those for 30 bucks or something like that, and those are really good ones with good seals. That's going to get you up to 50 cigars, and then you buy a few more cigars or a box or something. You're going to have to get bigger containers, and eventually that's going to get unwieldy, as you can imagine. So then it's time to think about a bigger humidor. But for your starting point, I would say stick with what I refer to as Tupperdoors. They're an easy solution, economical, and they're very effective as well. You can control the humidity a lot better in these than in a wood humidor. Last on my list is something that I actually did right when I started smoking cigars, and that's I started a Cigar Journal. And this is just like a 10 or 12 buck blank page book that you can write in. But you can do it on on word processing, or you can do it on blank sheets of paper. It really doesn't matter. There's my CEO Pilan I talked about. And I put in the size and the body and the date that I smoked it and made a few comments about it. So I have a whole bunch of these, and I think I did this for probably the better part of a year. I got lazy toward the end and started just putting them in with a rating and not doing a lot of comments on them. And it really gives you something. Number one, it makes you think about what you're smoking. But secondly, too, it gives you kind of a reference. You can go back and say, oh, look I really like medium body cigars. So it's not a bad idea to have a cigar journal. Hey, I created a playlist of videos curated especially for new cigar smokers. And I have the link in the description. And I would suggest if you're really into starting smoking cigars and you want to learn a lot, that's some good videos to do that. Also subscribe to channels, not only mine, other cigar channels, but don't forget Cigars and Other Dudes stuff, because I got some good learning videos and do some reviews and some other fun stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Have a happy new year, 2025, and I will see you next time from Cigars and Other Dudes stuff.